Today I'm coming about Ecclesiastes. I think I've gotten a summer cold, so please forgive me on my voice. But anyway, Ecclesiastes, that's my favorite book in the Bible, by the way. And I guess it's been my favorite book because of the fact that, you know, Ecclesiastes gets you to wonder, why do you work so hard for what you got? When you die, you can't take it with you. You know what I mean? And that your kids, your family, or whoever it is that can claim it after you pass, they're not going to appreciate it because you worked so hard to get it. They didn't have to work hard. They don't know the blood, sweat, and tears you put into it. But why does it matter to work so hard for something, things that you can't take with you? Relationships even. I mean, you love your family, true enough. But you came into this world, most people by themselves, and that's how you will leave. For the most part. But Ecclesiastes is that it trips me out because in the beginning he talks about how he toils and labors. And even when he reaches his goals, what fulfillment does he get? Because if he dies, he can't take none of this with him. What is the purpose? What's the purpose of working so hard? What's the purpose of even reaching the pinnacle? You know, but it's not about, you set goals in your life to obtain, yes. And if you're in the right purpose, in God's purpose, along the way of reaching those goals, you learn life's lessons. Because the only way to get God's blessings is to learn his lessons, because we all come here not knowing a thing, because that's what we do. We come here as babies, you know, to learn. And in learning, we get to enjoy the fruits of being on this earth, to be able to touch, feel, see, do, to be in carnal nature, but not to be in carnal. I mean, I don't say carnal nature because I think the carnal nature thingy. Anyway, squash that part. But I mean to be able to feel it and touch it 3D, 3D sunglasses, instead of just being in the 5D. But if you think in the 5D, your reality, what you think of, creates your reality. So what it is that you want, according to God's purpose and his plan, if you follow him. See how it all goes intertwined? That's why I guess they say the many are called, but the chosen are few. Because most people born into this world stay in this world mentally and not think about their higher self. And so they begin to toil and labor for the things here on earth when it's so much deeper than that. God has a purpose for each and every one of us. I think God do live his life through us, those who want, and then you have the devil. He live his life through them too. Because, you can't serve both masters. You have to, I don't even want to say, you have to have a balance, because you can't be goody two shoes, but you can't be dark devilish either. And God knows ain't nobody perfect, so you gotta have some bad. But as long as that bad isn't trying to kill somebody else, kill, steal, and destroy. How about that? As long as that bad ain't trying to kill, steal, and destroy. And we know how that can be through talking, through actions. That's why you have to get your soul right. Because what's on the inside comes out in your actions, your mind, because it starts in your mind. But you got to know who you are on a soul level, because who you are on a soul level is going to influence the way you think, because you want to be right with your soul. You want to feel good. You want to know you're doing the right thing, no regrets about life, because you tried to do the best whenever you was in whatever situation, because God was guiding you. You prayed. You had faith that He was going to guide you. So you tried the best that you knew what you would do at that time. And even if you didn't come up victorious, you reflected and knew what not to do. So you learned that lesson. And in that lesson, as you progress to receive God's divine inheritance for your life, you learn lessons to become a better person, to know who you are on a soul level, so you can bless humanity in a better way. But Ecclesiastes, I guess the reason why I liked it so much is because I always used to wonder, what was my purpose? I mean, like, dang, I know we didn't come here just to work. And, man, I say that all the time. I used to always think, especially in my 20s, like when I was just getting out on my own, I was like, what is to look for? What is it to look forward to? We working and, because I was trying to see what it was I want to do in my life. I'm like, dang, I'm working. And then, trying to get this, trying to get that, working hard, this and that. And then I got to battle all this other bull crap about the way people see you, colorism crap, all that drama too. For what? And then I might not even get to what I'm wanting. So I always just believed in God. I've always believed in God, and I just always let God lead me, But at one point I used to think of, when I used to be heavy into the Bible all the time, I used to think about what was my purpose, and that's why Ecclesiastes was always my favorite book, because it was life, like telling life, like, what are we doing? What are we here for? And it's for, and it was always for a bigger purpose, not just to have things, not to just be abundant in the things that we can touch, see, and feel. No, our soul is at stake. Loving God, being what God wants us to be, following His. He's everywhere because we are a part of each other. But Ecclesiastes, once again, got us to think about that in the purpose. If you read the Bible in that sense, I mean, everybody has their own understanding, but that's what he says, and that's what Ecclesiastes talks about. Like, you gaining everything that you want and to lose your own soul because you're only thinking about the material things and not thinking about your soul. And how you can work really hard to leave these things for your kids, your family, but they gonna squander it because they didn't work hard for it. But that's why you see millionaires and stuff always with their kids not happy because their kids was given everything, so they don't appreciate it. They never had to work hard because they always had. So they don't appreciate it and they squander. Or shit, try to take their parents out. That's the crazy part. But anyway. But I remember at an early age, I just always trusted. Like I said, God was my father from as far as I can remember them saying God was our father. I was like, well, shoot, I don't have no daddy, so God gonna be my daddy. I mean, we was raised in the church. I knew there's always somebody who started the world, who controlled it all, because the sun came up every day, the moon came out at night. So something made it happen. So there was a higher something watching over us, basically, and if he did all of that, I want him to be my daddy, and that's who I believe was my daddy. And there's only one, because there can only be one who made everything. And I think that we're all a part of him. That's why we're his children. But anyway, so I always strive to be what he wanted me to be, And I figured that would be good, because who is the person who made the earth full of people, meaning us humans and stuff like that, to be mean to people, you know what I mean? And just the Bible in itself. Anyway, so I say that, I digress, because I'm chattering and running on. In my high school yearbook, I just always trusted God. In my high school yearbook, I'll go back and look at it from time to time. People, you say, you gotta still have a yearbook. Yes, I'm in my 50s and I still have my high school yearbook. For my goal was, my goal was to have a brick home, 3-bedroom brick home, 3 children, and be married, be a nurse. And I had all of that. I had all of that. But did it make me happy? I was happy. You know what I mean? But I still wanted I still thought there was more to life than just this, because the husband that I had, he was the father of my children, but he didn't make me happy in that sense. He wasn't the right one for me. He just wasn't ready to be what God wanted us to be. I put it like that, I think, because everybody happens in your life for a reason. I truly believe that nothing happens by coincidence. Everything is orchestrated by God, the Most High. And that's how we learn lessons, because you can't learn lessons unless you go through the fire. But we always have to know what our purpose is. And Ecclesiastes kind of brings that to the forefront for me. Because we can get everything we want, but is it really going to make us happy on a soul level? Because God has plans for us. And to know yourself, to thine own self be true. Because I could still be married today, but would I would have been happy? No, I wouldn't have been. I'd have been very miserable. Probably wouldn't even been the person I was today. So I had to be good for my kids and myself, because I didn't want them to think that being in a miserable marriage is happy, because that's what society wants you to have, and that everything I need God provides. I just trust and know that He guides my path, and we learn lessons. And in those lessons, we get our blessings. Don't toil and labor to receive the whole world and lose your soul. Go check out Ecclesiastes. Love you guys. Bye.